rocking in Missoula. Wildcats are grinning too. Talk about the tide that's rolling in.
551556.
Thanks, Wes.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
The Blitz has been called. Welcome to the evolution of sports radio.
You see, in this industry, just like in life, everything evolves.
Call 256-576-4977 to make your audible for the Blitz.
That man is playing Gallagher. Thought we wouldn't notice, but we did.
It's the Afternoon Blitz. Here are your hosts, Smokey, Captain Cool, and the Bandi Man.
Hello and welcome back to a Maniac Monday here in No Man's Land. Welcome to the Afternoon Blitz on the Tennessee Valley Blitz Sports Radio Network. I'm your host, the Captain Cool. Perfect timing as of always, Bandi.
Oh my goodness, it's
Captain Cool. Someone lose a grenade. Oh yeah. Make sure you guys find us online at theblitzsportsradio.com, on Facebook at theblitzsportsradio, and on Twitter at theblitz_sports. And while you're at it, go and find us on Twitch and YouTube at WZZN-TV for more than just sports talk. The studio's looking good. I'm rocking a nice little shirt, a little vintage shirt. I like to rock the throwbacks, okay? All right, it's my style. And you know what? If you can't see it, just picture a blue button-down, little baggy, something from like maybe Friends. You've probably seen the show Friends, or possibly like Full House, something like that. Not Fuller House. Not Fuller House. We're not talking about that. But, yeah, that's just me going off a rant already. If you guys want to join in on any of the conversations today, call us at 256-576-4977. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to talk about what you got to talk about. Maybe you got a gripe about the LSU-Alabama game. I know we all do. Maybe you're upset that Tennessee finally lost, but you know what? They're still solid. They're a solid team. Don't worry about it. Georgia's just a little bit better than it. That's just how it is in college football. But this first hour is presented by Fleming Roofing and Restoration, the guys you need to talk to about all your roofing needs. Have roofing problems? Look them up online and get your free quote today. Remember, Fleming always shows up. You're live hanging with the chillest crew of two in sports radio in the booth. One Mr. Bandi Man Bailey Lowry. It's a Bandi type day. Hey, Bandi.
Gotta move around. How's it going, Captain Cool? What'd you call it, a Maniac Monday?
It's a Maniac Monday. We're going crazy here in the studio. Yeah. I see, as the energy from you is crazy. No, I was just excited.
There we go. No, I got everything set up now. What is going on a sadly disappointing Monday for me?
And you know what? It's a little disappointing. You know, for even me. Okay, the Browns didn't play this weekend, so that didn't get my joys up. But they didn't lose either. And then the Bills lost to not a terrible Jets team, but they lost a terrible game. The Packers lost to terrible teams. That was a gross game. I'm surprised it wasn't on Thursday Night Football. All right, I'm gonna be honest with you. That was that type of game right there. The weekend was full of a lot of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, which I know you've been playing a little bit more of now.
A little bit, and I've actually been switching it up in Overwatch too, because I mean I'm still thoroughly enjoying it.
Okay.
The 5v5 is great.
All right.
And I'm having fun playing tank.
Well, I'm glad that you are having fun with Overwatch, because I'm not even touching it as of right now.
And I will tell you, because now that the new Tank Heroes has been revealed for Season 2,
yeah,
I'm actually going to go a little bit more in depth in the play-by-play about what that means for the free-to-play side of the player base.
Heck yeah. All right. Well, that's very cool. My weekend, again, full of Call of Duty, full of a little bit of football. After college football broke my heart, I kind of just chilled out on Sunday. I don't really remember what all I did, but it was mainly boring work, and that's pretty much all what went down. I watched some Rick and Morty. I wanted to watch some anime, but I just couldn't bring myself to it. And then tomorrow, Halo Infinite's getting an update. It's the winter update. It's going to bring a lot of new things to the game, and I'm going to be switching it up, but not with Overwatch, but Halo and Call of Duty just back and forth. Possibly I'll sprinkle in a little bit of Overwatch, but it'll be like the third string right there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just how it's got to be. So that's just how it's going down. We got a lot to talk about on today's show. Obviously, we're going to talk a little bit of college football. We will be talking at 2:25 with one Michael Rodak from AL.com, and he'll talk Alabama football with us. What went wrong? What went right? What Alabama's going to be doing going forward, because, they probably are out of the playoff contention at this point.
There's stuff that went right during that game?
There's some things that went right, okay? Bryce Young had an insanely good play where he was just scrambling around. He almost got sacked. He came out and chucked the ball down the field for a nice touchdown. Alabama didn't lose that game by a lot, all right? It was a close matchup. LSU's not a bad team. Chase Daniels is an insanely good quarterback. And the reason he's a good – yeah, you look at me a little bit. He's a good quarterback against an Alabama team that always plays poorly against quarterbacks who run the ball. Johnny Manziel.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson. The list goes on. Cam Newton. I can name a lot more. I'm not gonna, because a lot of these quarterbacks I totally forgot after they got out of Auburn because they didn't go to the NFL. Either way, they've always had some problems with these rushing quarterbacks, and this was no different, okay? Chase Daniels is a very quick guy, and you know what? Comparing it to Tennessee's matchup against LSU, which Tennessee destroyed LSU, and I saw it plenty of times on Facebook, people saying, oh, look at this. This is the difference between Alabama and Tennessee. I wanted to comment on them, but I'm not going to try to give in to their delusion. Chase Daniels was very limited in that game. He was coming off of an injury, and he wasn't able to run the ball, which is 50% of his productivity, all right? Alabama lost that game fair and square, okay? Right off the bat, they were shooken up. But I'm going to save the rest of that talk for later with Michael Rodak from AL.com, because that's when it's all very exciting, okay? You can find me at CPTCool420, and you can find the Bandi Man at BLowry2016. That is right.
Yeah.
I've heard you say it enough times that I remember it. We've said it to the people so many times that they should remember it.
Now, I actually want to make talking about Tennessee and their matchup against LSU. I want to talk about them for a little bit because both them and LSU have the exact same weakness.
Yeah.
And what happened? Two teams completely went about it two completely different ways, and one completely dominated their opponent, Georgia.
Yeah.
As opposed to getting beat by that game plan, which was Alabama.
Yeah.
Because think about it. Both teams have weak secondaries. That's the weakest part of their defense. Georgia just absolutely exposed Tennessee's weakness in their matchup this weekend.
Yeah.
We could have done the same with LSU. We could have done the exact same thing against LSU, but I'm not sure what was going through Bill O'Brien's head with some of these play calls.
I think the beginning of the game really set the tone. Whenever Bryce Young, they were flying down the field. They were having a grand old time. They would get into the end zone, and then just a little bit of a bad decision by Bryce Young to throw that ball into the end zone, and it gets picked. That's what kind of scared him as, the offensive coordinator, and then he wants to either run the ball or do short passes. And they were still throwing it down the field a little bit, but you could tell that they were a little bit more hesitant on those plays because they don't want to force another turnover like that. And then we got the fumble later on by it was just you couldn't you can't fix those mistakes. You just need to. That's the thing.
Yeah, but I mean, at some point, where do you take a step back and go, we have a Heisman-level quarterback. Won the Heisman last year.
Yeah.
He can still play at that level. We got to put faith in this guy.
Exactly.
He's our starter.
Exactly.
Do it.
Yeah.
Put faith in him.
Yeah. Unlike Aaron Rodgers. You can't put faith in Aaron Rodgers, all right? He says he could play to that elite form if he needs to, but you know what? We haven't seen it yet. He threw 2 interceptions yesterday. Terrible interceptions, by the way.
Didn't he throw 3?
He might have thrown 3. I don't know. I stopped watching after 2 of them, okay? But I stopped watching. I didn't want to deal with it anymore. But later, I'm going to talk about all the NFL recap stuff tomorrow because that's what we usually do. But, yes, it was just you can't rely on him. But in college, Bryce Young is still an elite quarterback. He makes magic happen. He plays similar to Patrick Mahomes in the way that he can get away from the defenders and he can throw the ball under pressure. He's clutch like that.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, he's got that old style quarterback in him. He's not going to be running the ball. He's not going to be breaking a lot of tackles. He's going to just get destroyed in the backfield if his line can't block and his wide receivers can't catch. He's not going to be able to make it by himself. Whereas Bryce Young, even Justin Fields, I could say this about Justin Fields. Justin Fields could win a game, not on his own, but if his whole team's trash and he just gets a little bit of blocking, Justin Fields could run the ball all over the place, possibly throw it up to somebody and catch it. He is the game changer right there. And you know what? The Bears sometimes have it, sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
Justin Fields is good, though.
Oh, we need to start having it. We need to start giving Bryce Young some protection.
Yeah. We got
stop letting the defensive line through so easily.
Yeah. They gotta do something. But hey, the game's said and done. Alabama has 2 losses now. They're 7-2 for the first time since 2010, which I was 10 years old, by the way, just so you could I could show you my age.
It's 2010.
2010. How old?
13.
13. Just a little bit older than me.
A little bit.
Just a bit. I'm gonna catch up to you one day.
I don't think you will.
I don't know if that's how it works.
I think I can place my bet pretty safely. You're not going to catch up to me in age.
I bet by the time you're 50, I'm gonna be 51.
All right.
Or dead. Could be dead.
What?
Could be. I don't know. It depends on what my life path goes to. But I think right now I'm pretty solid. All right, anything can happen. But today is November 7th, 2022. Bandi, let's get into the Blitz news. All right.
Let's do it.
The Cincinnati Bengals domesticated the Panthers. They destroyed them, okay? And you know what? The score at the end, it looked a lot closer than it actually was. No, the Bengals were up 28 to nothing at one point in this game, okay? Joe Mixon made absolute history, and the Panthers cut ties with 2 defensive coaches in cornerback coach Evan Cooper and D-line coach Paul Pasqualino. I don't know. He's something Italian. Pasqualino or something. I don't know. It doesn't matter. He's gone now. He's gone. So
he's gone.
It doesn't matter. But as well as this, okay, the team has also activated QB Sam Darnold from the IR, so we might be seeing little Sammy boy coming back. Baker Mayfield got to play a little bit in this previous game. Yeah, he didn't do much, but still, they did a little bit more than what P.J. Walker was doing. It was a bad game of the Panthers. The Panthers are a bad team. They're falling apart. But along with the Panthers firing their coaches, head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, Frank Reich, has also been fired following the embarrassment that was the loss to the Patriots and also just the lackluster start to the season. Okay, Matt Ryan and the team was supposed to bring him to the playoffs. Jonathan Taylor supposed to be amazing. He wasn't as amazing. He's still not as amazing. He's hurt a lot of the times this season. There's a lot of problems with that team. But now they don't have a head coach. Or do they? I'll tell you who in like 2 seconds. Just kind of hold on for a sec, okay? But yeah, he was fired because of the embarrassment that was the Patriots. They scored 3 points on the Patriots, and it sucks because, I mean, Reach wasn't a bad coach, okay? He was 40-33-1 with the team, all right? That's not bad. That's not bad.
I mean, you're not exactly in a very good situation there over in Indianapolis either.
No.
And what do you got? You're stuck with, Sam Ellinger and Matt Ryan. Yeah, I was trying to remember his name. Matt Ryan. Are we going to go off the air this time? No, I think we're safe.
I think we're good. I think we're good. We have less lights on, taking away the power. Not that it was our fault.
No.
Could have been.
I mean, never know.
I think a ghost just came through the air. There are ghosts up here, by the way. This is a haunted place. I mean, all radio stations are. It's just how it is. But they're looking at several teams to possibly get somebody for a new head coach. But as of right now, former Colts center and 6-time Pro Bowl Jeff Saturday will hold down the fort as interim coach.
That's a good pick.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's in on the organization constantly. I mean, he played plenty of seasons for him. 6-time Pro Bowler. He's a stellar dude. I don't know how he's gonna do, but I feel like he's got the heart. You know, he's a center.
He's got the heart.
He's got the heart. He's a center. It could be. It's like the Tom being the head coach of a team, which he was. Okay, he was pretty good at it too. But I don't know. Maybe Jeff Saturday knows a little bit about coaching a team. Maybe he could bring this team out of the darkness and into the light, as some would say. But we'll have to see, and we'll see that pretty soon. And then this is a pretty interesting little story. There's a man who has predicted every win and loss throughout the season with the Jets.
How's he been? Are we gonna find out?
He's predicted everything. I'm gonna continue talking about it. I'm not gonna continue into the cool segment because this is just a quick story. Just a quickie right here. But how he's found out the win losses. Okay, for this team. All right, he's flipped a coin. That's a 50-50 right there, Bandi.
He just flipped a coin.
He just flipped a coin, and he posted before the season started about what he was getting as the results. He even predicted the Bills win. I don't know. This is a magical coin we're talking about, but so far he's 100% correct.
Oh my god.
Going forward, we'll have to see. I might just pull up the post later on, and we can figure out if they'll actually win some of these games or not. I didn't think the Jets could pull it out against the Bills. Honestly, that's going to be a big talking point with Mr. R.J. White from Sportsline on Wednesday. I'm excited to talk a little bit more about that because maybe the Jets are legit. They might be. I don't know. But he thinks they're going to be winning, or this coin flipping thing says they're going to win 11 games. That's a pretty stellar team right there. We haven't seen that since Mark Sanchez.
Exactly.
Okay. But then they go into the playoffs. They win a few games, and then they lose in the AFC Championship. So it's realistic. I mean, it could happen, but I don't know. The Jets are one of those teams where it's just a big question mark, kind of like the Giants, where it's like the Giants are winning games, but not by a lot. The Jets have found ways to win against teams that are supposed to be good.
Yeah.
They beat the Packers. They're supposed to be good. They're not good. Okay, maybe they're not supposed to be good. It's the Packers. It's the branding. You got Aaron Rodgers on the other side. He should be winning games. He just does not.
They're supposed to be good because they got the names.
Exactly.
They got the name power, and they used to have the firepower with Devontae Adams.
Yeah, they don't have the wide receiver power anymore.
We know how that went.
Yeah.
And that's probably why they're in this position in the first place.
No. But the Raiders aren't that much better.
Exactly. Yeah.
They are not that much better. If you watch that game, the Raiders versus the Jaguars over the weekend, oh my gosh. If you're a Raiders fan, I am sorry for you. If you're a Jaguars fan, I mean, you beat the Raiders. Congratulations. Moving on. Alabama lost to LSU this past weekend. Me and Bandi are a little sad about it.
Yeah.
Put the final nail in the coffin for the Crimson Tide's chances at a playoff run as well as the SEC championship matchup this year. Now, it's not totally final, okay?
It's pretty final.
It's pretty final, okay? These last few games are not like the hardest to lose for some of these teams, but still, all right? It is pretty final that these guys are not going anywhere this season. But like with Tennessee's win over Alabama at home, it was no difference for the Tigers at home, and fans were rushing the field after the 2-point conversion to win in overtime for the LSU Tigers. Now Tennessee only had to pay $100K fine, all right?
Yeah.
It was $100K.
Only $100K.
Jump change for a school like that. LSU has done this numerous times this year, leading to a $250K fine. A little bit more.
A little bit
more. I think that's like I think it's the second or third offense whenever the fans are rushing the field. Because the first time I think it's $50K, second time it's $100K, third time it's $250, and on from there, any other time they rush the field, it's $250. I believe that I'm right there, but yeah,
I don't know. We'll have to confirm that, but
I'm pretty sure
why did it have to be LSU?
I know.
Of all teams, this is just the season where Tennessee is now ranked number 1 for the first time in ages.
Yeah.
Beats Alabama for the first time in ages, and now we lose to LSU in overtime.
Yeah, it's pretty much a harumph moment for us. But I gotta say that LSU did look good, okay, and losing in Baton Rouge, respectable, I guess.
Never good.
It's never good, but it's like that crowd is something else. And Alabama has not been playing well against away or home advantage. Yeah. They've not been playing good against that. Okay,
and we haven't played good on the road since last year.
Yeah, even at home we have been struggling this year. I don't know what's been up. Okay, there's been games we should just destroy. There's games that was like supposed to be big. I'm looking at the Texas A&M game right here. Okay, Alabama at home goes against the second string quarterback. After we take out the first-string quarterback, and we still almost lose the game. This happened with Texas earlier in the season. I don't understand. We got to figure something out with this team, but right now, this season, maybe we can get to like the Los Alamos Bowl. I don't know exactly what bowl we can get to here. It's going to be a good one, but it's not going to be the one that Alabama expects every single year.
Now this has just made me even more worried for the future Ole Miss matchup.
I know, yeah. And it's like we're like an 11 – Alabama's an 11-point favorite over them.
Which, honestly, I don't get. At this point, right now, after watching LSU, I don't see how we're that high of a favorite still.
No idea.
Even at, we're playing at Ole Miss, too, correct?
I have to look at that. I haven't really looked into it too much.
It's either at Ole Miss or
I'll find it.
It's at Ole Miss. Yep.
It is at Ole Miss.
But Chad has confirmed it is at Ole Miss.
Number 10 against number 11, and we are an 11-point favorite against them.
Away. How? After watching this entire year, watching this season, how can we even remotely be favored away?
I know.
Against a top 10 team.
We could be, I could understand like a 5-point favorite over this team, okay? But having to go in there, we were a 13-point favorite over LSU. We went in there, got clapped.
Yeah, I may sound just like a stingy fan, but again, it's like We've watched this same team throughout this whole season.
Yeah.
It's a completely different team on the road.
Yeah.
At home, we play all right. When we're away, we just play awful.
Yeah.
I don't know. It brings out the worst in us.
It does. I mean, maybe the pressure gets to them more than we think, but yeah, I don't really know. But I would say that for LSU rushing the field and stuff like that, like Tennessee, I think the $250K is worth it. Honestly, having to pay that much because first off, okay, it's a win against Alabama. Second off, Brian Kelly's first year coming in and winning against this Alabama team.
Did you know he couldn't do it with Notre Dame?
He couldn't do it with Notre Dame. He couldn't. Jeez, it really shows you.
Speaking of Notre Dame.
Speaking of Notre Dame, it absolutely demolished Clemson, which made me very happy because they pretty much just did what Syracuse should have done 2 weeks ago, and now Syracuse is just on a losing streak that makes me want to really gouge my eyes out. Let's get through these other ones quick so we can get into our conversation with Michael Rodak. Next up, we had the Boston Brewers quickly signing and releasing Mitchell Miller in the span of a weekend due to controversy that happened in Miller's youth. The NHL... Huh?
Like, what happened?
No, don't even look it up. I'll tell you later.
Ooh,
It's for the cool segment, so this one's coming up, okay? And the NHL is still not ready to let the 20-year-old into the league. More on that story during the cool segment of the show. Not because it's a cool story, but because it's going to be a really cool lesson to learn if you are of the youth and you maybe are dealing with bullying or bullying people right now.
Is it going to be a what to do or what not to do kind of story?
What not to do.
Okay.
Don't be like Mitchell Miller. And there's a lot of stuff involved in this, and we'll all cover it later. But then the Bandi Man will give us some news on the Gears of War's wide range of interesting project coming to us in the form of possibly movies, possibly shows, who knows. Some Overwatch 2 details, including the balancing and of the new hero that is coming to the game, and we've had a little over a week to play some Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and we'll be able to give you our little review before Warzone completely takes over the game. Won't catch me playing that too much, or will you?
Because there's reports of a stream likely to be this week.
Yeah.
Showing off Warzone 2.
That's going to be sick. I think it comes out 16th, 17th, 16th?
It's around there.
Okay, it's one of those 2 days. I'll say that.
Yeah, and then the Overwatch 2 update like the day before. So it's going to be a big weekend.
Yeah, a lot of things for FPS shooting games, whether they're team or Call of Duty, because Call of Duty is no such thing as team. It's just go in there and shoot people. Even though I do have a few things to, if you guys want some tips and tricks on how to get better at this Call of Duty game, I can tell you that a little bit later. Because of my amount of time playing the game, I've learned that it's not like any of the other ones. We're going to hop into a break, guys. When we come back, one Mr. Michael Rodak from AL.com is going to talk Alabama football with us, maybe some speculations, maybe some things to look forward to in the later games or seasons. Don't go anywhere because you're listening to the Afternoon Blitz.
The Blitz has been called.
This is Wes Neighbors with Philip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. Still a place to call for your installation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on two services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatedwitheagle.com and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Here's Bobby White from Woody Anderson Ford on their service department.
President's Award winner 2 years in a row. That's only given to the top 10% of Ford dealers in customer satisfaction. So we're very proud of the service department. And our body shop. If you happen to get into an accident, which not a lot of people just want to go down and see a body shop, but if you get into an accident, award-winning body shop. We have state-of-the-art paint booths back there. They're waterborne paints that we use, friendly for the environment. We've got our production system, the way things are in and out. We have the fastest cycle rate in town of getting your vehicle in, getting your vehicle out, and assured that it's fixed right. We take pictures before it's wrecked, and not only after, but we take it as we're putting the parts on. All done to above industry standards. So I'm proud of our body shop too. Don't forget our parts department. So you don't have to need parts, performance parts, or just parts if you're a weekend mechanic.
Woody Anderson Ford, located at the corner of Jordan and Sparkman, as well as Hughes Road and Madison. You can also check out the great deals at WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Guys, when we were 20, we never had to worry about spontaneity. And now that we've gotten older, spontaneity has been replaced with pills and injections. We're just trying to keep that intimacy, but it's taken away from spontaneity. At Advanced Life Clinic, we now offer GainsWave, which uses sound waves to non-invasively treat this issue with no need for pills or injections. Just give us a call, 256-888-9367, or check us out online, advancedlifeclinic.com.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
Hello and welcome everyone back to the Afternoon Blitz here on the Tennessee Valley Blitz Sports Network. I am your host, the Bandi Man, Bailey Lowry, joined across the aisle, across the glass, by my co-host, John Abraham, Captain Cool.
Hey.
And you know what? I'm looking forward to this next guest because I'm super excited. We got on Michael Rodak from AL.com. Guy does a great job.
First-time guest.
Yeah, first-time guest.
I'm super excited for this.
Does a great job of covering Alabama football on AL.com, and we're super honored to have him on this afternoon on the Afternoon Blitz. Mr. Rodak, how's it going this afternoon?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Good stuff.
Hey, anytime. You know what? I just got to ask the big question right from the start. Just what happened on Saturday? Because it just seemed like during very key moments, especially toward the end of the game, our play calling just seemed out of whack, and just nothing seemed to be going right for the Tide. Just break down what happened during those key moments against LSU.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a few of them to unpack. I think in terms of the 2-point conversion attempt, there was some pretty obvious confusion because they went out there with 12 guys on the field defensively when they saw LSU was going for 2, and then they had to call the timeout because of that. And then they come out of the timeout with 12 guys on the field still. And in that case, you have Malachi Moore running off the field. LSU could have snapped the ball and gotten a penalty. And then obviously they run the play, and it works. Now, I asked Saban about that today, the 12 guys, and he didn't seem to care about that. He said it was, it was fine, essentially, and they were in the right defensive call, and the guys were lined up the right way, and they just didn't tackle them. So, I mean, that's, I guess, a deciding play, but really it's the entire game that puts you in that situation, puts you in a situation where LSU can win on one play. And I think ultimately it just boils down to Alabama not being a good enough team this year, whether it's in the LSU game, Tennessee game, the Texas game, the A&M game. No matter where you look, they're a team that is much more average offensively. They don't have the firepower at wide receiver especially. They can't run the ball as well as they have historically. And the defense is just not good enough to overcome, some of the deficiencies of the offense. So that's what happened. I think that was a culmination of what we've seen. But in terms of actual play, that's kind of what happened on an actual play.
Yeah, and a lot of the feedback on Twitter, I mean, especially after the game from the fans, is like, we got to clean house. We got to fire everybody. Like, we just need a complete clean sweep of the program. But, I mean, Just is there anything you can really pinpoint it to just how this Tide was playing against LSU, or is it just a culmination of too many factors?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's talent issues that maybe we weren't expecting, but I think do exist. And you look at the guys they brought in the transfer portal, and Jahmyr Gibbs has been great. Tyler Steen, I think, has been fine at left tackle. But the other three have not lived up to expectations at all. I mean, Eli Ricks has finally gotten into the starting lineup. I guess he's played pretty well. He had penalties against LSU, but clock's kind of ticking on him. He's probably going to go to the NFL after the year, so you didn't get much out of him. Jermaine Burton, I think, has been pretty underwhelming. He's not a difference maker at wide receiver. And then Tyler Harrell hasn't seen the field at all, and he's been healthy the last couple of weeks. I don't think you could blame it on his injury as well. So that's three guys right there where maybe you don't quite think you had the talent from the portal that you thought you had coming into the year. And then recruiting-wise, too, I mean, you only go into the portal because you didn't really have a whole lot at wide receiver to begin with based on how they recruited the last 3 years at wide receiver. You have a guy like Ajay Hall, who's probably the most talented guy they've recruited recently, and he's gone because of a variety of off-field factors. And then offensive line, too. I mean, the offensive line's just not good enough. You don't have the center like a Ryan Kelly or Landon Dickerson type. You had 2 5-star tackles in your class 2 years ago. One of them is starting and playing pretty well in J.C. Latham, but the other is Tommy Brockemeyer, and he hasn't played at all in 2 years. So you start missing on the recruiting and the talent aspect of it, then it's going to show up on the field eventually. I think that's what's happened.
Yeah, good stuff by Michael Rodak from AL.com to talk Alabama football with us. And I wanted to kind of go into the beginning of the game a little bit, and I wanted to get your opinion on which play on the offense for Alabama do you think really changed the tone for the worst? Because there were multiple. But which one did you see that was probably the tone changer on how the offense was ran throughout this game?
Oh, I think it's hard to ignore the goal line interception there. I think that was a pretty important play where, Bryce Young is really what made that offense go. I mean, without Bryce Young, you kind of saw what the results were when Jalen Milroe was in against Texas A&M. So, I mean, Bryce Young elevates that offense above what it should be, essentially. And when he's not playing well or he makes a mistake like that, then things really tend to go south. And that was a throw that, he was kind of improvising, scrambled, he stutter stepped, stopped, he kind of threw sidearm. And if he led JoJo Earl at that pass, it would have been a touchdown. In this case, it was behind him, it gets picked off, and you get 0 points out of what was their best drive of the game up until maybe the fourth quarter. So that was, I think, the game-changing play, where if you go into that with a lead, a 7-0 lead, I think maybe the tone of the game changes after that.
Yeah, I was really trying to push you to that one because I knew that was probably the main thing, and I wanted to know, what did Bill O'Brien do differently throughout this game because of that interception? Because it seemed like something was off from that point on.
Yeah, it's possible. I think the coordinator stuff is tricky. I do think they play a role, and Nick Saban explained this today. In terms of game planning, yeah, coordinators are very important. Obviously, they are the ones calling plays on game day, but even Saban said today that he really has the final say. He's the one who can veto stuff. And we saw that last year. If you remember last season, the Mississippi State, they called a timeout at the goal line, and they were in shotgun, and then Saban essentially said, hey, we're going to run the ball here and go heavy, and that's what they did, and they scored a touchdown. So if there's a problem with the play call, if Nick Saban has a problem with the play call, he's going to change it, and that's true offensively or defensively. So as much criticism as the coordinators get, I'm not sure that it's 100% warranted because it does stop with Nick Saban, and that's what he said today. So, in terms of what changed, I do think O'Brien is playing a little bit shorthanded, if you will, because of they just can't run the ball. And that's a personnel issue, I think, has to do with the offensive line not being good enough and has to do with them not having that running back who's able to run between the tackles. Gibbs is a great player, but he's a not between the tackles sort of runner. You have to get him out in space.
Right.
Jace McClellan's similar, probably a little bit more physical, and then you saw a lot more Roydell Williams in that game on Saturday night because he's the most physical guy they have. So you can only call the plays to what your personnel are, and I think in wide receiver, too, if your guys aren't getting separation, it's not like you can just draw up this play to get a wide receiver open down the field if they can't get open. So he's kind of calling what they need to call, and I think a lot of that is just throwing to Jahmyr Gibbs and kind of trying to put him in space and see what happens, or throwing to Jace McClellan and seeing what happens.
Yeah.
Right, and it also doesn't kind of help that these last couple years we've just been absolutely spoiled by just absolutely top-tier running backs and like Derrick Henry, Najee Harris, Trent Richardson, Eddie Lacy. Like, we just had so many good years of just back-to-back-to-back running backs. Like, just finally seeing one where we have to adapt like this, it's game-changing, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's tough to recruit sometimes, too, when high school game changes and you don't have too many Derrick Henrys coming out of high school or too many high school teams that, as they go more towards the spread offenses, there's not the same quality at running back, and you don't have the same players being built that way and having that sort of training. So it can be a little bit tougher. Like, even they got a 5-star running back in this past class in Emmanuel Henderson, but he's really become more of a slot receiver because that's what his skill set is. And you got to go out and find that 5-star running back. They have another one coming in next year, but you just got to have the personnel to be able to run what you want. It's not like you can just call a bunch of running plays and line them up and be able to have success the same way you did with Derrick Henry. You need the players to do it.
Exactly. And I kind of want to move away from the game because I know it is hard. It's not too serious to the point where we're gonna die from it, but at the same time, it is tough for us Alabama fans and just anybody who's really a part of the sport. But I want to talk about what are some good takeaways from this game, at least, that we can look forward to moving forward through the season.
Well, I think the fact that it came down to the final play and it was a 1-point game, I think is something that they're trying to emphasize, not only with us, but within the team as well. And obviously the Tennessee game came down to the end, and that's even something that Lane Kiffin was talking about today. He's like, look, if Alabama wins that Tennessee game, which was close, they win the LSU game, which was close, maybe they're the number 2 team in the country this week, and a lot of the conversation around them is a lot different. So, there's certainly some silver linings or an optimistic way of looking at it, but at the end of the day, it is still a team that has 2 losses, has very little shot at making the college football playoff, and they could have also, they could have 4 losses right now. If you look at it the other way, if they lose the A&M and Texas games, which came down to the last play, they could be a 4-loss team.
Exactly.
And the conversation's even different in that case. So it kind of depends on how rosy your glasses are, how you want to look at it. But I don't think it's a team that's, terribly far off from what it was last year. But there certainly are some issues on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Right, so kind of looking ahead, the West now is kind of wide open for whoever wants. It seems wide open for Tennessee at the very least, but now they got a loss coming off of Georgia, and now they eventually got to play Ole Miss, I believe. And looking ahead to that Ole Miss game this weekend, what does Alabama need to do to not only contain Ole Miss, but to make sure that we come ahead with a W away?
Yeah, it's an offensive team. Ole Miss is like, people think Lane Kiffin, they think fast pace. They tend to think that you're throwing the ball around the yard. It's not. They're a team that runs the ball a lot, and they run the ball really well. And it's not necessarily the big bruising guys. It's kind of these little bowling ball running backs that you kind of able to keep the defense on its feet because you're running such a fast-paced offense, but they're running the ball. And you can get 200-300 yards pretty easy in this Ole Miss offense. I think they're 3rd in the country in yards per game. So they're going to need to stop the run. They're going to have to deal with the pace of the offense really well, which they did last year. That game was not close at all in Tuscaloosa, but the game 2 years ago got into that shootout type of atmosphere where you're going touchdown, back and forth. So I think they want to avoid that because they don't have the firepower offensively themselves to win that sort of game. But yeah, it's a game where, even if you win, if Alabama wins, and if they win the Iron Bowl, they would still need LSU to lose both of their remaining games, the Arkansas game and the A&M game, in order to have any shot in the SEC West. Otherwise, LSU is going to win. The SEC West, Ole Miss does have a shot too. Ole Miss would have to beat Alabama and then I think get another win and get another loss by LSU. So it's a little bit wide open, but really Alabama's in trouble right now because of LSU's strength and some of the tiebreakers they have.
Michael Rodak from AL.com talking Alabama football with us. And, Michael, I want to look at a little bit more of this Ole Miss game. The line on it is Alabama's favored 11 points, okay? And we saw last week that against LSU, going into LSU, it was 13. I want to know exactly what's going down with this. Is this a valid line, or is it a little too much? Because to people like us, where we just kind of see the team from an outside view, we see them losing these games where they're favored, or at least having a close game to these teams where they are highly favored. Texas A&M was one of those games. Even Texas was one of those games. Is it valid, or is it a little bit of just Alabama as a name with the coach Nick Saban? Is it a little too much of a stretch to say that Alabama is an 11-point favorite in this game against Ole Miss?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they could be hard pressed to win by more than 11. Ultimately, the betting line's really a matter of where do the sports books see people betting, and how do the sports books make money, not necessarily how they see the game itself going. There's a difference there. They're trying to make money off of it and see how people will bet. And in this case, I do think people betting probably look at Alabama as a team that tends to respond well from losses. They have historically. So they could be bouncing back. And they probably look at Ole Miss as a team that really got beat pretty badly by LSU a couple weeks ago, and maybe is not, and had a pretty soft schedule the first month and a half of the season. So maybe they don't think quite as highly of Ole Miss either. So that could be part of it.
Okay. All right. And then with the season kind of being a little shaky going towards the end, without going to the playoffs, if that does happen, I want to know what's the best thing that could come out of the end of this season. Would you think the team would still have the energy and power to go into a normal bowl game, or maybe just one of the top-ranked bowl games, and still go out and win one of those?
Well, I think if you're looking at a bowl game that's not part of the playoffs, which right now there's some projections that put them in the Orange Bowl, some put them in the Cotton Bowl. They could very well be in the Citrus Bowl, especially if they lose this Ole Miss game. Then you're probably looking at a situation where Bryce Young and Will Anderson don't play because they are projected top 10 picks. There's not much reason for them to play. It's too risky, and I think, honestly, Nick Saban would probably tell them not to play. And so in that case, it gives Alabama an opportunity to look at somebody else at quarterback, and we got a fairly brief but still significant look at Jalen Milroe earlier in the year, and he's limited as a passer. And there's also Ty Simpson, the five-star freshman who has played even less this year. So in both cases, I mean, you're losing Bryce Young after this year, and you're going to have to find a quarterback for next year. So if you get a chance in the bowl game to look at Milroe, to look at Simpson, and kind of figure out where you are at quarterback, and could very well dip into the transfer portal this offseason and see what's available in terms of quarterbacks elsewhere in the country.
Exactly. And Michael Rodak, last thing I want to ask to you is looking very much forward. You were talking about, what Alabama needs to do, filling out those spots that we're going to be losing this season or past this season. Looking towards more recruiting, who are you looking forward to the most into the future of Alabama, and who do you think we still need to pick up for to have that solid team that we've had in the past?
Yeah, I mean, it's such an interesting day and age because you can recruit a class of 25 guys. In fact, you can go higher than that now, but a decent amount of them might transfer after a year, and even a larger amount could transfer after 2 years. So a lot of the guys that you bring in may not even pan out or may not even be on the team in a couple of years, and you're looking at it as a dual way of getting players from both the transfer portal and recruiting. And I think you have to look at the guys in the roster who they've recruited the last couple of years who they haven't really played yet, and really at wide receiver is kind of the most. That's the center of attention. That's like they got to find some guys, and they have 5 freshmen this year at receiver. 2 of them have played a little bit in Isaiah Bond and Kobe Prentice, and then 3 haven't. So I mean, those are the guys who, if you're going to build that offense again that they used to have, that's probably where it's going to come from. In the secondary, they have, I think, 3 5-star defensive backs coming in as part of this upcoming class, and that's something where you're going to see a lot of turnover in that secondary with Jordan Battle gone and Marco Hellam's gone and Brian Branch gone, probably Eli Rick's gone, and you're going to see some freshmen maybe having a chance to contribute right away in the secondary.
Looking forward to that. Michael, we are very thankful that you can hop on with us for a little bit of time, talk about some Alabama football. Tell the people where they can find you on the socials and or on AL.com.
That's right, AL.com, the Alabama football page, as well as Twitter at Mike Rodak.
All right. Thank you very much for your time, Michael. We'll let you get back to your day, and we hope you have a great one.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Right, appreciate it. Michael Rodak from AL.com. A great guest, honestly, for this day. It is sad, we look at Alabama's loss, and there's a lot to be sad about, but at the same time, we kept it close with another very highly talented team. And, it's not the Alabama team we're used to, okay? Alabama is usually that team that wins out every single game. If they lose 2 games in a season, it's a bad season.
It's done.
It's a bad season for us. And this has happened many times. Back in 2010, again, I said it, we lost to South Carolina and another team that I honestly can't even remember who won. But it was one of those things where after a national championship, we go and we have a lackluster season that upsets a lot of people. But at the same time, you can't complain too much because the next year, we start doing the same thing we're usually doing. And then in 2011, we go to a national championship against an LSU team, and we shut them out. And that
felt so good.
It really did.
That felt so good. After losing 6-9 in the regular season and one of the slowest paced games I've ever watched.
It was a short one.
To shut them out 21-0 in the national championship felt fantastic.
Yeah, it was one of those seasons where it was poetic almost. But again, there's some things to complain about with this Alabama team, and then there's some things to look at, and you're just like, maybe we're a little spoiled with this team because they are great every single year. Even with the 2 losses, this team is still top 25 every single year. Once they're out of the top 25, that's a different story, okay? That's when we could say, okay, maybe they've fallen off.
We're not Auburn yet.
All right? We've stayed in this top 25 for a long time, and I hope that we can keep it. Knock on wood. I'm going to knock on that wood because a lot of the times when I say stuff, okay, the opposite happens, which I'll be talking a little bit more about some stuff that could possibly go awry in the later part of the show. But I look forward to seeing what Alabama can do. Honestly, it's interesting now. They're in an interesting situation where they're not going to go to the typical playoffs.
No.
There's a possibility, but still.
Very low chance.
Very low. But they're not going to go to the national championship. It's just one of those things. It's like, which bowl game are they going to end up at? And who are we going to get to see play? And will we get to see the same high-energy team that we see throughout the season?
Maybe.
I honestly, I just hope it's a fun time.
Yeah.
I honestly just hope it's a fun time. It's going to be interesting either way. But it was good to talk to one Michael Rodak from AL.com. Go and check out him and his work. And you know what? I think we're going to hit a little bit of a break. When we come back, we will preview the second hour, talk maybe about a little bit of just fun stuff in this little Tom Abraham segment we might be having. But you guys don't go anywhere because you're hanging with the coolest crew of 2 on the Afternoon Blitz.
The Blitz has been called.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, here letting you know we are proud supporters of Madison Academy football. Stop into the University Kia today and shop our large selection of new Kias, including the all-new Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the stylish new K5, and sporty new Seltos. Visit universitykia.com to view all our great offers and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia today, because we want to see you in a Kia. Go Mustangs!
If you run a business, whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or construction, you know that commercial vans aren't one size fits all. Some vans are too small.
We're gonna have to make 2 trips.
Others too big.
Watch the top! Watch the top!
You need a van that's just right. That's where the Mercedes-Benz Metris comes in. It's the only available mid-size commercial van with unmatched safety features, a 2,500 2-pound payload, and enough cargo space to hold over 60 sheets of 4x8 drywall. It's big enough for the job, yet it's small enough to fit in your garage. It has a service interval of up to 15,000 miles and the highest residual value in its class, according to ALG. We won't give you a one-size-fits-all van. We'll do you one better, a commercial van that's sized just right for you. The 2016 midsize Metris. Mercedes-Benz. Vans born to run.
Bing, bong, bong, bong. I'm high on believing. Bong, 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 bong. You got my mic on, I see. All right.
Yeah, I do.
I appreciate it. Hello, everybody. Welcome back.
You gotta hear a little Abrahamisms before the intro goes.
I mean, why not? I mean, I make noises, you know. But welcome back, everybody.
Noises.
It's a Maniac Monday. We're all just crazy here in the studio, as you can tell from my enthusiastic voice. But this is the Afternoon Blitz on the Tennessee Valley Blitz Sports Radio Network. I'm Captain Cool alongside my good friend Bandyman Bailey Lowry. By the way, there was a football player in a game this weekend, I think an NFL game. His name was Bandi. His actual last name was Bandi. And I saw it, and I was like...
Who do you play for?
Could have been the Packers. It could have been...
The Packers?
It could have... It was a wide receiver. It could have been the Bears. It could have been the Colts. There are a few teams it could have been. I didn't...
Maybe the Cardinals.
It could have been anybody, if we're being honest. I totally didn't even care to remember. I should have, because this would have been a funny thing to talk to you about.
I mean, do you even know if it was a pro player?
It was a pro player.
It could have been college?
It might have been a pro player.
Am I making you doubt it?
You're making me doubt it. You made me doubt it. But either way, if you guys want to join in on any of the fun today, call us at 256-576-4977. The rest of the show, all the way up to 4, is very open, okay? And we have a new schedule on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, our sister station, where the Tom Abraham Show is directly behind the Bandy Captain Cool Show, Afternoon Blitz. And it was a little hectic this morning, Bandy.
A little bit.
How was that for you?
You know, honestly, not very different.
Yeah? No?
No, Talking Ball is on normal schedule, so
yeah,
got in, talked some good football with Drew Armin, who does recruiting blitz on this same network, so catch that.
9 to 10?
9 to 10, every weekday.
There you go.
But him and Scott Tyson were talking about some good stuff this morning over live at Woody Anderson Ford.
Yeah, very nice. I know that we kind of just hopped into like this studio while the Tom Abraham Show was going on, and it was different because I was like, I'm not used to hearing Tom like this late in the day, so now I don't have to actually like wake up and then start hearing him already talking in his office, just like doing stuff that he does in his office just early morning, because that man's up early. All right.
Yeah. But hey, now we got 11 straight hours of live sports talk.
It's so cool. Again, if you guys want to join in on any of the fun stuff that we got going on, you can call us, or you can just have the app and listen to us just on your drive to work or drive to anything, drive home. It doesn't really matter, but the Blitz Sports Radio Network on Apple and Android devices, as well as the 97.7 ESPN, the Zone app. It's just so easy. It's just the easy access. It's just right at your fingertips. You can listen to all your favorite co-hosts, hosts, Chad, and just the whole rest of it. I just know Chad was over there, which he is on the stream, by the way, WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube. If you're not driving, don't drive and watch the stream, guys. It's not worth it.
It's not safe.
I know we're beautiful people behind these cameras, but still, just not worth it, okay? You can see us later or watch the preview, which are all on Facebook and Twitter and all of the other socials. It's just great stuff for you. I wanted to jump into some college football, but I was on a little rant about some other stuff. I'll bring up the Notre Dame game real quick, okay? The Notre Dame game versus Clemson. This was a huge game because Clemson was ranked number 4. And I feel like Notre Dame, what they do is they literally go up against these teams and they adjust to either how bad or how good they are, and then they either keep them close or they lose miserably, okay? Looking at the Syracuse game, they destroyed Syracuse. These last few games have been pretty good for them, okay? They've been going in and just beating teams that were ranked, but now they're not. And then they go up against Clemson, and they absolutely mollywop them, 35-14. The previous one was 41-24, and then obviously against UNLV or UNNV, LV. Sorry,
UNLV.
Yeah, it's Las Vegas. They had a pretty easy time with that, but against Stanford, they kept it close. They lost. BYU, they kept it close. They won. The previous game against UNC, they kept it close, and they won. California kept it close, they won. It was every single game they play is close. It doesn't matter if the team's good or not.
Yeah. And what's crazy is that during this entire time, I mean, remember, Syracuse almost took a game off Clemson themselves.
Yeah.
And the fact that Notre Dame stomped them too, and then went on to proceed to stomp Clemson, which, by the way, I mean, it was still relatively close even at halftime. Still only 14-0.
Yeah.
But just from the way Clemson was playing, Notre Dame had their number from the beginning.
Oh, yeah. They couldn't score at all until the end.
Couldn't really get any kind of momentum going on offense.
Yeah. It was just gross. It was a gross game. Notre Dame's now 6-3, sitting at number 20 on the AP poll, while Clemson moved back to number 12 at 8-1. Ugh, I want to talk a little bit more about Syracuse, but we got to get out of here, guys.
You want to do the play-by-play first or the Captain Cool first?
I think we can do the Captain Cool segment first.
All right.
If that's all right with you. I like to end on the gaming.
All right, let's do it.
This is how it is. For me, for Bandi, we'll be back in a little bit. This hour has been brought to you by Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We'll see you guys on the other hour. You're listening to the Afternoon Blitz.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialist from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Organizations using Salesforce know how powerful the platform is and how much time, money, and headaches it saves if it's set up right and you know how to use it. Let's face it, Salesforce is complicated and time-consuming to figure out, and a lot can go wrong now and down the road without expert help. That's why most Salesforce users work with an implementation partner like Higher Echelon, so they get the absolute most out of their Salesforce investment. Higher Echelon is a 5-star Salesforce consulting partner who won Salesforce Military Hiring Partner of the Year. President Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets. He puts that experience to good use at Higher Echelon, where they pride themselves on hiring veterans. Look, not all Salesforce partners are the same. Don't put your company at risk by going with an inferior partner. Higher Echelon is the trusted partner you can count on to get you up and running and seeing returns on your Salesforce investment in a fraction of the time it would take if you go it alone. Go to higherechelon.com. That's HIGHERECHELON.com to learn more. Go higher and go Army.
At Bryant Bank, we believe your goals are worth chasing, and every step along the way is worth celebrating. From your hopes for the future to the challenges that keep you up at night, we're here for you. Bryant Bankers put care into action to help you live legendary by stepping up when you need us most and doing what's right, even when no one is watching. Come experience a local bank whose people greet you by name and treat you like family. Bryant Bank, member FDIC.
You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives.
This hour of the Blitz is brought to you by Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Online at FlemingHSV.com. Welcome to the evolution of sports radio.
You see, in this industry, just like in life, everything evolves.
Call 256-576-4977 to make your audible for the Blitz.
Batman is playing Galaga. Thought we wouldn't notice, but we did.
It's the Afternoon Blitz. Here are your hosts, Smokey, Captain Cool, and the Bandi Man.
Remember the time. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Afternoon Blitz on a Maniac type of Monday. Yeah, that's right. We're going Maniac mode. I'm Captain Cool alongside the Bandi Man, Bailey Lowry. If you guys want to join in on the conversations, we got 256-576-4977 is the number to call. You can also find us on Twitter at @theblitz_sports, where you can tell us anything you want. If you don't want to call in, just go there, and we will get all of your little messages towards us. We got a lot to talk about, okay? First off, this hour is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, the best place to get the best vehicles for the best prices.
You know it.
I've been talking about this 2022 Ford Bronco for a while. The stinking, I was about to say the Shagwagon just because I go straight to that when I think of the Expedition. The new Ford Expedition looks spectacular. It looks amazing. And with the service lanes they got at Woody Anderson Ford, you can expect the same greatness with the quality of customer service they will give you because, geez, these guys, they're doing everything right over there. Go get a new car. Go get a present for your wife this holiday season. It's just, everything you can do there is just perfect. Just go. We got a lot to talk about, all right? First off, Joe Mixon made some freaking history this weekend, okay? He did a spectacular game, and I want to talk a little bit on that. And also want to talk about the Boston Bruins and what they did this weekend. It was a very long feeling weekend for them, but it went by very, very quick at the same time. That's all coming up on. Oh, that's cool.
It's getting hot in here.
Hot. So hot. That's a spicy meatball.
Spicy meatball.
So it's time to cool down with Captain Cool.
You know what cool?
What? Damn straight. All right. Good news for whoever had Joe Mixon on their fantasy lineup, okay? Wowzers. This man put up a amazing game. And maybe it was just because the Bengals are that good, okay? But the Browns still beat them. But maybe it's just the Bengals are that good against this terrible Carolina Panthers team, who we thought was a little bit better last week at least because they played the Bucs. They pretty much shut them out. And then they go in and play against Cincinnati, and they look like they're not even a team, okay? For the most part of the game, all right? But the Bengals faced off against the Carolina Panthers, and, you know, again, as of late, they have been doing pretty good. But too bad for them because they faced off against a pissed-off Cincinnati Bengals team. The team was absolutely pissed off. I mean, you come off of that Monday night loss to the Browns, the way that it happened, nobody loses to the Browns like that, all right, and doesn't get a little upset, all right? I've seen it happen only a few times where I've gotten to the point where I can be actually comfortable sitting and watching the Browns play football. Sometimes it's against the Steelers. Sometimes it's against the Bengals. Hardly ever is it against the Ravens, but still, like, there are some times, every single time, that I can be a little happy, a little uppity about the Browns' performance against teams. But I'm not talking about them because I'm talking about the Cincinnati Bengals, who absolutely went off against these Panthers. All right.
I'm trying to scroll through our fantasy league right now to see who does have Joe Mixon.
Who does?
I'm looking for. I'm not seeing him right now.
Do you think somebody's got to have him?
Someone's got to have Joe.
If somebody left him,
Grumpy.
Was he on the bench or was he actually playing?
No, he was definitely playing.
Good.
Guess how many fantasy points he got?
I know. Do you?
Yeah.
I guess we both. Yeah.
Poor Crawdad.
Say it.
55.1.
Damn.
That's about 3 players worth right there.
That is a lot. That is like half of what my team accumulated this week. All right, my team's not that good. But yeah, it was actually really cool. And I don't know, I don't want you to look too deep into that because I want this to be somewhat of a shock to you, Bandy, about how like insane this performance actually was. Okay, we're not talking like 250 yards. Okay, obviously we don't want to say that because he ain't no Derrick Henry going up against the Texans here.
Right.
But Joe Mixon's still a very elite running back in the way that he can get into the end zone and he can catch the ball too and run and do just pretty much anything for the team. But
yeah,
the score of that game looks a lot better than it actually was because that game was just disgusting the whole time.
In the second quarter, it just absolutely went completely downhill for the Panthers.
Well, right off the bat, it was downhill.
Well, I mean, at least at the very end, it was like 7-0. So at least there's like a little bit of a slim chance. Like there was like a little bit of an idea that Carolina could still be in the game after the end of the first, but then the second quarter.
What?
Like Cincinnati just shut all that down.
Oh yeah, of course. It was 28-0 at one point in that game.
28 unanswered points in
28.
the second.
That means Carolina Panthers ain't going down the field. They ain't doing nothing. All right. That's the 2011 LSU team going up against Alabama. Can't even get past the 50-yard line. Okay. Now the Panthers did end up scoring a few points on this game. Okay, they scored 21 at the end of it all. Okay, but that's not going to catch the 42 points that they already put up. And then they didn't even score any points, by the way, in the fourth. I'm talking about the Bengals. They didn't score any points in the fourth. So they scored 28 points alone in the second quarter.
Yeah. Just completely shut down any hope of a Carolina win.
Insane. 35-0 was the score going into the half, okay?
I'm pretty sure, did Joe Mixon have like 3 touchdowns in that quarter alone?
It
was like he had like 2 or 3 in that quarter alone.
Man,
it was close.
Yeah, man was going off. But let me talk about this, okay?
Yeah.
Joe Mixon, all right, he rushed for 150 yards, okay? Only 22 attempts, so that's like the average right there, okay? 22 attempts. Averaging 7 yards a run.
Yeah.
Okay. He played other positions quite well, too, because he had 58 yards receiving with 1 touchdown. And, I forgot. He rushed for 4 touchdowns. Man had 5 touchdowns at the end of this game. All right? Yes. Insane. Now, this is already crazy enough, okay? He's only the 6th player since the Super Bowl era to have over 200 yards, scrimmage yards.
Wow.
Scrimmage yards. With 5 touchdowns. Because obviously we've seen some players go over 200 scrimmage yards, all right? Derrick Henry did it just a little bit ago. But
yeah, like 2 weeks ago.
But he didn't have 5 touchdowns to add on to that, okay? It was not that. Tennessee's not the team to score 1 billion times a game, okay? Panthers, not that team either. The Bengals, on the other hand,
they're that team.
They're that team. And so are the Bills if they wanted to be, but they weren't. They didn't show up against the Jets, which was a little upsetting because I'm a little bit of a fan when it comes to the Bills, all right? I like the Bills Mafia. They crazy. They jumping through tables and stuff.
Very dedicated.
Very dedicated stuff right there. But it was a great performance by Joe Mixon. The 55.1 points for fantasy. We haven't seen that by a Bengals player since Chase. What is it? Jamar Chase. Like last year. So
he had that kind of performance last year.
He had that kind of performance. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember against who.
I forgot exactly against who, but I'd have to look into it. I remember just like talking about it a lot. I was just like, this guy's ridiculous. This guy's insane. It could have even been this year. I don't think so though.
I don't think it was this year.
He hasn't had the same productivity, but there's a lot of good wide receivers on that core. Okay, Higgins, we got Boyd, we got the whole squad over there. It's probably for me, it's the most recognizable squad as well. Okay. It is an elite, and it makes me really question like what really went wrong with the Bengals against the Browns. And then I think, oh wait, Myles Garrett, Jadeveon Clowney, the defensive line for the Browns.
Yeah, we just kind of absolutely ate that offensive line up.
Whereas the Carolina Panthers ain't got nothing going for them right now. Okay.
And when you're able to let them create gaps for Joe Mixon and just absolutely take advantage of, and Joe Burrow he has time in the pocket.
No.
What happens?
Throws dimes.
Exactly.
Throws dimes. Hey, but hey, Baker Mayfield came in.
He did?
For the Panthers halfway through this game. Did a pretty good job, okay? P.J. Walker, on the other hand, 3 for 10, 9 yards, 2 interceptions. Yeah. Tell you why he was in the XFL. Baker Mayfield, on the other hand, doing what Baker Mayfield does. Whenever he's down and out and he thinks he might lose his job and lose his career, he goes off 14 for 20, modest, pretty good, 155 yards, 2 touchdowns. This was during the crap times, okay? Okay, it was 35-0. Obviously, the Bengals were going to kind of let up a little bit. But still, pretty good by him. And then if you're looking at the Panthers' running game, don't even worry about it because there was nothing there, all right?
You're not going to find anything?
The most rushing was from Dante Foreman, 23 yards. That's all. They didn't do much.
Ouch.
They didn't do much. It was an ugly game for the Panthers. I don't even know where the freaking points came from, honestly. I didn't care to really watch the game. But then Joe Burrow, on the other hand, he was 22 for 28. Solid performance by him with 206 yards and 1 touchdown pass because he didn't really need to throw any balls because you know who was doing it? Mixon.
Yep.
And that touchdown pass was to Mixon, by the way. There you go. I mean, jeez. Man was actually insane, okay? But then you look at the other running backs for the team. Perrine, 6 carries, 51 yards, averaging 8.5 yards a carry.
That's pretty dang good.
That was the second string running back. So it just shows you maybe the Bengals or maybe the Panthers. Sorry, it's 2 cats we're talking about right here, but one of them's domesticated after this loss. They just couldn't do anything about any of what Bengals had to offer for them. A little upsetting for the I did it again. I did it again, Bandi. Correct me.
Bengals.
I need one of those shockers.
The Panthers.
The Bengals, Panthers, the Cats. I'm just gonna say the Cats. The
Bengals.
The little kitty cats.
I'm looking forward to when you do your NFL rundown tomorrow, though, because there was a game I actually really did catch a lot of this weekend, which was Miami and Chicago.
Jeez.
Dolphins-Bears. I mean, that was a good game.
It was intense.
So I'm looking forward to hearing your analysis
All
about
right.
it.
I'll tell you one thing. Justin Fields, man, has a lot of potential. All right. He can run the ball. What did you say, Chad? He said trash.
Trash.
Look, say what you will.
I mean, compared to the other quarterback that was playing that day, I mean.
Say what you will, all right? I looked at his performance of that game, and I thought, hey, that's pretty good. Okay, man was showing some abilities that I haven't been able to really see this season from him, and I wanna give in on that. I want to give my pennies to him and say, you're the quarterback for this team, okay? But
yeah.
We'll go over all that stuff tomorrow when it actually matters because that's when the NFL recap will go on. During the cool segment, we'll have the Monday Night Football game. We'll have all that jazz going down. But I want to move over to my other story because maybe we can get in some college football scores as well because there's a lot more college football to talk about. But I don't know. We don't have enough time to talk about it because there's so much to talk about, okay? But the Boston Bruins, yes, we have hockey news as well. You didn't know it. I didn't know it. So it just happens sometimes. Boston Bruins are actually my team, by the way, Bandi.
I mean, I should say I'm surprised, but I can't really be surprised.
Yeah, you can't really be. I mean, it's just like any other team. Though I'm not a big fan of most Boston teams, I will say. I'm not a big Boston guy.
Not like a Red Sox fan?
Hate the Red Sox.
Good.
Obviously. I'm a Yankees fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you can't like them both. You'll end up somewhere in an alleyway in New York.
Hey, you know what I used to say? When I used to play those old NHL games like on the GameCube?
Yeah.
Because I really need to get into hockey. I love watching playoff hockey.
Hockey is the best sport to go and watch live.
Yeah, but I always pick the New Jersey Red Devils.
Yeah.
I just really like their logo.
Yeah, I mean, it is cool, and it's classic. And also, back then, you were probably playing with the best goalie ever. So
What was it? It would probably be back in, like, 2005?
Oh, yeah.
2006?
Yeah, let me...
Maybe, like, 04. I'm trying to remember.
Think about the game that you were playing, because I played 2003.
Actually, not. I mean, here, I'll think about it. What was going on with the Boston Bruins?
Okay, well, I wanted to tell you who the best goalie for this team was that you were probably playing as for the longest of times. Martin Brodeur.
Martin Brodeur.
Yeah, probably. You were probably playing with him.
The best goalie of all time?
Probably the best goalie of all time. It depends. It depends, but he was amazing. So I just remember having his hockey card. Yeah, I had his hockey card. I collected hockey cards too. All right?
Nice.
But again, with the Boston Bruins, they had an interesting weekend signing them immediately, which, I talked about it earlier, but they signed a new guy, and then they cut ties with him as soon as they signed him, okay? This is one Mitchell Miller, USHL's Defensive Man of the Year, last year at least. But due to racial abusing and bullying of a child back in 2016, Miller was originally drafted. He was drafted eventually. 2020, he was drafted, okay, to the Arizona Coyotes. And they didn't know too much about his backstory until reports surfaced explaining the situation that he was involved with. Now, the Coyotes didn't hold on to Miller for long, knowing this information. Okay, they got rid of him pretty much as soon as they could. Okay, because they didn't want any of this bad publicity. It's bad publicity. Okay, but it was all based on new information. That's quoted. Based on new information, which they got.
Based on new information?
Based on new information back in 2020. Okay, they didn't know about that information going into drafting him.
A middle school incident?
It was a middle school incident.
So, why would they have that information going into draft day?
They didn't.
I mean, why would they? I mean,
that's what I'm saying. So obviously they're not going to know what this kid did when he was 14 years old.
Yeah, they would have his stats and his hockey background. They wouldn't have his. They wouldn't have his. They wouldn't have his middle school permanent record.
Yeah, one of the Arizona news outlets brought it up, and then that's when it kind of came to light to everybody about it. But they instantly resided his contract. 2 years later, we're looking at now the Bruins pick him up and plan to place him on the AHL organization. However, NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman said the league wasn't informed about the signing, and Miller is, quote, not eligible at this point to come into the NHL. Despite the comments he brought up the day of the signing on Friday, saying, quote, this was, by the way, this was from Mitchell, all right? This story's all over the place, but this was from Mitchell here, all right? He says, he quoted, because this was when he was on the team. He wanted to make everybody know, like, this stuff's in my past. He said, to be clear, let me be clear. Can you make me disappear? I love that. But he said, to be clear, what I did when I was 14 years old was wrong and unacceptable. There is no place in the world for being disrespectful to others, and I pledge to use this opportunity to speak out against mistreating others. All right. Well, that's not going to happen because you're not going to be able to be in the NHL in the first place. Now, it sucks. It really sucks when you think about this because he was 14 years old.
Wait, so is he not going to be able to be picked up by any team anymore?
Not as of now.
Not as of now?
He's
just completely barred from the NHL.
He is blacklisted from the NHL for now.
Over something that happened in middle school.
When he was 14, yes.
How old is he now? 20?
He's 20 years old, yes.
20.
It's tough.
This is. I don't know what to do with this.
It is a tough one, okay?
Because again, being racist toward people and being racist toward someone is, of course, a terrible thing.
The child was in second grade as well.
Okay, wait. So he's in middle school talking to a second grader.
It's a whole weird ordeal, which his parents got involved, or the kid's parents got involved.
Now, see, I'm not just sure if did it just go from being like a racist incident to this was just a douchebag in middle school.
It was probably. I don't know if we can say that on air, but we can say that online.
We can.
We can say that online. But
it's better than saying the other one.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, hey, little Timmy, he done some bad things when he was a little child. You can't hold him on that. He was a child. He didn't know what he was doing. The kid's 14 years old. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't care. His upbringing could have been a little off. I don't think it was because the kid's now looking to be in the NHL. It's up to him to choose if he wants to be just an a-hole or if he wants to be a hockey player in the future. All right. You don't do this. Okay. You don't have this mindset. Yeah. You don't just bully little children and think you're gonna get away with that. It's something that will come up in your future, and this is the big thing that it really comes down to is
I mean, don't be a jerk in middle school.
Yeah, I don't want to be any if you're a younger kid listening to this, I understand this. Okay, I'm not trying to be your father. Okay, but some advice if you are young and if you have a bright future ahead of you. It's fine to be naive, child, okay? That we all were naive. We were all dumb kids, okay? But know that when you are younger, okay, it can always come back to hurt you. That's what we hear a lot of the times. And you might just scoff and be like, yeah, it's whatever. I'm not going to do anything bad. Look back at your Twitters. Look back at all those little things you put on social media. Look at what you've posted public or you've said public to normal people that you don't think would say something bad, like that you said something bad. I hit my mic. You just be respectful to others, okay? And yourself.
What confuses me though is the statement about we're sorry we didn't know this when we thought about drafting him. It's why would you?
They wouldn't.
Yeah, it's you don't need to apologize for that. You're not going to have someone's middle school permanent record again when you're drafting someone for a professional hockey team.
Yeah, all they were saying was based on the new information. This is why we did that. That was way back in 2016.
Yeah,
not 2016, but 2020.
Yeah, I'd be more concerned about how many times he was in the penalty box.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if I was looking to draft him as a professional player, that's what I'd be looking for.
You almost had to go to the real penalty box, but the kid was only 14. It's crazy to think that 2016 was that long ago. I can't believe that.
6 years ago.
I was 16 years old. It's really easy for me because I was born in 2000, so that's the easy thing.
Hey, that's when I graduated high school.
Sheesh, I was 2018.
Think about that.
No, that's why
the 2016's there.
Yeah. Wow.
Now you know.
Yeah, well, now I know.
Because I know why the 420 is in your name. Birthday.
Exactly. He finally realized it. It's my birthday.
As you claim.
Or
so you claim.
I actually didn't know, though, that it was because 2016 is when you graduated. I kind of guessed it, but I never knew for sure. So now I know. And now I'm going to look into your records and your past, and I'm going to find something on you. I need to have. I'm like Batman.
That's why I'm so glad. I am not concerned about like any of my tweets being found because I rarely tweet anything in the first place.
Yeah.
And two, I know if you go all the way back, my tweets were dumb. I had no idea how to use Twitter back then.
Yeah.
I was like, my first tweet, I'm pretty sure was like, just relaxing in my bed.
Just like the most.
I didn't know what social media was.
The most basic thing.
Like at 13.
Yeah, and that's around.
Like nobody knew.
That's around when I got Twitter as well, because I thought it was one of those social medias. At the time, I was one of those kids that wanted all the social medias because I thought, hey, you know what? This is how I keep relevant with all my friends and stuff like that. Now I can just be on a radio show, and that's all I really need. But I used it, and I remember tweeting stuff out like randomly, just like in gym at school, and like. Yep. Looking over it 17 times, so I made sure like I didn't spell anything wrong, I didn't say anything wrong. Like I'm that kind of guy. Okay.
I think I had one that was like just ate pizza.
Just ate pizza, yummy. Hashtag pizza lover.
Hey, because the cool thing to have back then was Facebook.
Yeah.
Like you had to have a Facebook back then. Like when it just really started becoming a big thing.
Yeah.
You had to have it.
I remember getting Facebook. It was 5th grade when I got Facebook.
Remember Farmville?
I remember Farmville, yeah. All the kids. Candy Crush was big too. Candy Crush was a huge game. My mom actually loves that game. Don't look into it. But no, like I was saying, I have to have some blackmail on you because I'm like Batman. Okay?
Have some blackmail on me.
You know, like I got.
What? That doesn't sound like the job of a co-host.
Look, I know. Look, like Batman, leader of the Justice League. All right. He needs to know his partner's weaknesses.
What if I go rogue?
If you go rogue, I gotta end you, Bandi. All right. Okay, maybe not blacklist, but I need to know like your Achilles heel. So I might like, maybe I could just, I don't know, pinch you somewhere weird and you just like pass out, and I can obtain you or something. I don't know.
What?
Dude, the things that go through this head, they're so filtered on this. All right. Make sure you listen to the Pinky Out Gang podcast. Pinky Outcast.
I'm about to be a lot more like on guard coming into work now. Just hearing this, I'm about to be constantly up, like looking behind me.
Bandi's gonna be in the studio doing a different show. I'm gonna be running up the stage to go. That's why I'm doing it. All right, you always gotta stay on guard. No, I'm joking. Bandi, you know I'd never do anything to you. You're my best friend. Well, when it comes to work.
Yeah.
We're actually just acquaintances.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, I see you more as an acquaintance, but we're not gonna get into that stuff. You're a cool guy though. I will say that. There's no reason for me to think anything ill will of you. But let's look at some college football before we have to hit a little bit of a break. We have no time again, by the way, but I'm gonna look into it anyway. Army Air Force is gonna be an interesting one to talk with Crawdad about on Thursday. It was a very close matchup. Like we said, not a lot of scores.
Yeah.
Rushing just constantly, okay? Florida put the absolute smackdown on Texas A&M, which Texas A&M is now 3-6. Can you believe that? That's insane. I mean, did we expect this? Did we really expect this was going to happen?
I mean, personally, I didn't at the beginning of the year,
No.
but I mean, am I mad it's happening?
No.
Not necessarily.
Nobody's mad at that.
Not really.
Iowa actually put up more than 20 points this week against Purdue, 24-3. Defense still very stellar. Not too many insane games. Ohio State as number 2, keeping it close with a 1-8 Northwestern. That one is a little sus.
Little questionable.
Little sus, okay? Ohio State has always been one of those teams where you think, maybe this team's not as good as they are.
It's like, how did Notre Dame blow out Clemson, but you're kind of keeping pace with Northwestern?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
I don't know if Northwestern's like Notre Dame in the way that they, do that, where they keep close to every single team that they play.
I don't think if they were, they'd be 1-8.
No. Definitely wouldn't be. Yes, so Syracuse lost yet another one. They just totally fell off after the loss to Clemson. Oregon won against Colorado. What a shocker. Penn State won against Indiana. Another shocker. Tennessee lost to Georgia. We love to see it, but we also hate to see it because it doesn't really matter for Alabama. And what do we got? I sound like the... Hey. Oh yeah, I forgot. Liberty beat Arkansas.
Oh, yeah.
That was ridiculous.
Kansas also took one over Oklahoma State.
Kansas is where they're at. They needed to do that.
They're sitting 6-3.
And then they took down I can't believe they lost so many games though. They're kind of Syracuse-ing it. They lost some games after their first loss, and then, or they're also kind of, what was that other team? Dominion. I forgot.
Old Dominion.
I brought them up I don't think it's Old Dominion. No, it was a different team, but I'm not going to talk about them too much. I'm just going to continue and move on because we got to hit a little bit of a break. Bandy, you know what's coming up next? We got some gaming news with the Bandy Man on the play-by-play. Again, Call of Duty, Overwatch, and also Gears of War are the topics to look forward to. We'll catch you on the other side on the Afternoon Blitz.
The Blitz has been called.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
In 1982, Bob Baumhauer introduced Alabama to the Buffalo Wild Wing, and quite frankly, we've never been the same. Back then, it was Wings and Things in Tuscaloosa, but now, 40 years later, after 4 name changes, Baumhauer's Victory Grill is the #1 sports-themed restaurant in the state. Bob's Alabama Hot Chicken is something that has to be tried to believe, plus the new Bam Bam Chicken and the Louisiana-style Go Fish, a whitefish over rice topped with shrimp etouffee. And Baumhauer's is fighting inflation with some new affordable favorites. Visit Baumhauer's on the South Parkway today.
This is Wes Neighbors with Philip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. Still a place to call for your installation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on 2 services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatedwitheagle.com and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
Tom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com. What's better than Valley Equipment Rental? 2 Valley Equipment Rentals, and that's just what we have now. The original on the South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road, and their second location on North Memorial Parkway just north of Winchester Road. Valley Equipment is locally owned and has more skid steers, excavators, and lifts than anyone in the area, plus all the small tools that you need to get the job done like a pro. And if you are a pro, you need to check out the new North location now because Valley Equipment has what you need. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
Listen to the wind blow, watch the sun rise.
And welcome back, everyone, to the Afternoon Blitz here on the Tennessee Valley Blitz Sports Network. I'm your host, the Bandy Man, joined across the glass by my host, Captain Cool, John Abraham.
Yo, it's your boy.
It's your boy.
Captain Cool. We chilling.
We chilling. You know, I feel like it's been a good show today.
It's been a great show.
We had a really good talk with our guest earlier today, talking some Alabama football.
With Michael Rodak from AL.com. It was, I got to say, it was probably one of the better interviews. We got a lot out of him. And, you know, him talking with Nick Saban a little bit ago, like right after the game, actually, really helped out. It gave us a lot of insight on how Alabama's rocking and rolling going past that second loss. Sad, but at the same time, roll tide, okay?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And you know what? I'm also glad to because this hour is also brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford.
Let's go.
Get the best cars for the best prices. And like you said earlier, I know you were talking about the 2022 Ford Mustang.
Yes, 22. The Ford Mustangs, they're getting more insane. Going to 2023 and 2024, they look so solid. I mean, Ford is really making a beautiful car. And then, I mean, you look over and they also have the used cars. So if Ford might not be your option, Woody Anderson Ford still got it for you because there's Toyotas, there's Priuses. I guess that's a Toyota still. There's Hondas. I mean, they've got everything. And you know what? I might just go there and buy myself a GT86 one of these days or a GR86 because they got the best prices for the best. I mean, it's just the best. Best. Coolest cars, best prices. Woody Anderson Ford.
Go for it. You know what? It's toward the end of the show. We're going to talk about some video game news today. It's God of War Ragnarok launch week.
Let's go. Best game ever.
God of War sequel apparently is the best game ever. Yeah. We got some Overwatch 2 news to talk about, and we're going to give our take on Modern Warfare 2 as we've both been playing it for a pretty good bit. And you know what? I've been having fun with the game.
Good.
You know what? I've been having fun. I like it.
That's all that really matters. I mean, you can't say anything other than that because as long as you're having fun, that's a good game right there.
So let's get into the E play-by-play.
Time to catch up on esports with E Play-by-Play with the Bandi Man.
But first, I want to talk about this Gears of War news because this is one of my personal favorite franchises. I really like it.
Really?
I actually really like this third-person cover shooter because it gave a gritty story. It gave a really good, engaging story. It had me hooked from the first game.
Nice.
The fight with the Locust.
Yeah.
Dumb.
It's one of those games where I watched. I know I say that a lot. It's one of those games. Well, I've experienced a lot of these games in ways that a lot of people probably have. They can relate to it if they're around my age, maybe your age, with a lot of these types of things where you see your brother or your brother-in-law playing it, and you're just like, this game looks awesome, but it looks like I don't know if I can play it because it's so bloody and stuff. And then
it can be very gritty.
And then later on, you're playing the same games, and you're just like, I love this stuff. As an old guy and as a young guy, it's always just consistently fun with these video games. But continue on, Bandi. I want to hear this news.
I mean, I like to think that playing God of War very early on as a child developed me and my taste into what I like playing as a video game. But Gears of War is getting a movie and an adult animated series and potentially more projects to Netflix.
Oh, okay. So this movie's going to come straight to Netflix?
That's what it's looking like. They're partnering up with the Coalition to develop a live-action Gears of War movie and an adult animated series.
Oh.
So this announcement came of the original Gears of War release on the Xbox 16 years ago.
Sheesh. I can't believe it.
Oh, my gosh. But you know what? I'm excited for it because you know who I want to play Marcus Phoenix?
Who?
Dave Bautista.
Oh, that would be perfect.
I think
that really would be perfect.
He looks just like him.
Heck yeah.
So you know what? Let's get it. I'm all for this franchise being turned into one of these because this is one of those franchises I feel like they could do it well with. It's kind of like one of those Halo Mass Effect things where it could really work in a live-action setting.
Yeah.
But the effects got to be there and the writing has to be there.
Yeah, but being on Netflix, that's one thing that's very positive. I know Paramount Plus had the Halo series, which definitely was not what people wanted. Okay, I definitely didn't. I stopped watching after 2 episodes. Okay, there were some good things about it.
The fights were cool.
The fights were very cool. It's kind of like Aquaman, in where like the cinematic fights were super good. The story very bleh. But I'm looking forward to it, especially because it's coming on Netflix, and Netflix usually gives a lot of budgets to a lot of their films. And this one, working with Coalition, the studio that has made the last 2 Gears of War, I believe, and some other stuff with the franchise. I look forward to it because even though the story is a little bit different nowadays.
That is true.
We don't know how they could do this show in like a brand new setting, or maybe they might just go all the way back to the beginning where it all started.
Now, what's interesting about Netflix, though, is that they're really kind of taking the reins on video game franchises and try to turn them into something really good.
Yeah.
Like TV show or some kind of movie. Like they've done it with Cyberpunk, The Witcher. I mean, Arcane is one of the best animated shows I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Castlevania, Resident Evil. And we actually got word of a BioShock project.
Oh.
Horizon Zero Dawn. And Tom Clancy's The Division.
Sheesh. Now, is that like newer news? Because I haven't heard anything about that.
I mean, it's pretty relatively recent, but it's been in the talks for a while.
I wonder which Bioshock they'd be trying to like go for, because there's multiple settings in Bioshock.
I don't know. I'm trying to think, what would they go for? Maybe, would they do it like kind of straight from the game and follow Jack's perspective from Bioshock 1, or focus it around like the whole deal with Andrew Ryan?
Yeah, I would say that they're probably going to do the beginning of the game because it's more like spooky, gritty type style compared to Infinite, or I guess it is called. Yeah, it is Infinite. I keep thinking, like, whenever I say Infinite now, I'm thinking about Halo, so, it kind of gets me questioned. But
hey, same thing.
Bioshock Infinite, one of, if not, my favorite game ever, because
it's such a cool game.
It is so cool, and I go back and play it a lot. I need to replay the remastered version because I have it on my Xbox. I've been waiting for it. I might just need to hook up a little camera and do a little gameplay of it. I think that'd be a great idea to get back into it. But continue on, Bandi.
So moving on to Overwatch 2 news. I mean, I've become a pretty huge fan of this game.
Good.
I didn't really think I would with the 5v5 change now in the 1 tank, 2 damage, 2 support. But I feel like I can position a lot better now. I can hit my shots with Ana more. I don't have to focus on one more target. It's more cohesive, but that's beside the point. They recently said there's definitely a chance there's going to be a melee DPS hero. Could be in the plans for Overwatch 2, but they need to fix some issues first.
Okay.
And one of them has to deal with the new hero, the new tank that got revealed this weekend. For free-to-play players, this is not going to be where if you had Overwatch 1 and you're playing Overwatch 2, you got Kiriko at the start. This isn't going to be that same situation.
Dang it.
You're either going to have to grind the battle pass or you're going to have to buy them for $10. I don't like this marketing strategy at all, or like this this new marketing game plan that they're putting in.
Yeah.
Because to lock the new champion up to 55 levels into the battle pass is actually absurd. That's over 2/3 of the way done with it.
Yeah.
And by then it's like, oh, well, the hero can't be used in rank for the first 2 weeks, so you'll have time to grind up until then. Not everybody has infinite time anymore.
No.
I don't have infinite time anymore. I used to in middle school and high school when I could grind.
We all did, and that's another thing that we put on our rose tinted glasses and look back on those games and be like, gaming used to be so much better. It's like, no, it's not. Gaming's amazing now.
Yeah.
We have amazing games coming out left and right constantly. The thing is, we just don't have the same time to really put ourselves into those worlds like we did with Call of Duty, like, Modern Warfare 1, the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare. So.
Yeah. And despite all that, I mean, Overwatch 2 really has been probably my primary game right now. I mean, I've sunk about 30 hours into it already.
Yeah.
Total.
And how far are you into the Battle Pass, Bandi?
I'm like at 42.
There you go.
Like, I've sunk this amount of hours already. Like, yeah, I've got Kiriko already because I had Overwatch 1.
Yeah.
But if I was free to play, I still wouldn't have the new hero that was released on launch.
Yeah.
I would only have 2 of them in Sojourn and Junker Queen.
It's
like,
terrible.
what is this?
Yeah.
If you're going to put in something new that's very critical to the game, you got to make it unlockable early. Like 15 or 20.
Especially in this hero-based game, because this isn't like a skin, okay? This is a game-changing character, all right? It doesn't matter. Maybe the character is going to be a bust.
Who cares?
But who cares? It's still a character that is going to be able to get into these games and change the way the game feels.
Yeah.
You're going to have to work with it, and you're going to have to adjust to it. And if nobody on your 5-man team has gotten that character, which you either got to spend the $10, which honestly, not a bad deal, but at the same time, this isn't a skin. This is a character you need if you want to have all of the options with a hero-based shooter.
Yeah, and not only that, this is also a new character that's going into arguably the most important role in Overwatch 2 right now, which is tank. You have to have a good tank on your team. I have experienced that firsthand. If you do not have a tank, you are done. You are done.
Done.
You are dead in the water.
Dead in the water.
And why is it always Diva?
It's always Diva. I love Diva, though.
I know.
It's my main.
She's cool.
She's really cool.
But some of y'all mains are not very good.
I know. That's why I'm surprised the most of why you're having so much fun with it. I mean, you're saying it is your main game at the moment, okay? As adults, we have to pick main games if we really want to, like, go forward in them, like, progress in them. I wanted to do that with Overwatch 2. Didn't turn out that way. Glad Call of Duty came and saved the day.
Yeah. But I found a good way to just kind of shut your brain off and have fun in Overwatch 2.
I'm glad.
Go tank and play Winston.
Yeah.
Just go full monkey mode. It is fantastic.
Monkey mode bonkers.
I mean, you just dive in, drop barrier, and you're good.
Yeah.
I mean, you got like a 4-second cooldown on your leap. You're not gonna die in 4 seconds being a tank.
Yeah.
And covered by a bubble.
I can relate to it a little bit. Whenever I played Overwatch 1, I was mainly D.Va, obviously. I spent like 50-something hours alone just on her. All the other characters, though, I did like go to them just so I could get the achievements. So I had to actually get decent at them for a while. So I played like mainly like Reaper. I played Lucio for a while. I played Winston. I remember getting good at Winston. He turned into one of the guys that I could really play as in comp because people loved when I played him, and I played decent as him. So
yeah. Literally, you can never go wrong with a good Winston.
Exactly.
Like Primal Rage, knocking people out of position.
Mm-hmm.
Although it's incredibly infuriating to get dove on by a Winston and then Primal Fury'd off the map.
I know.
And you don't have a way to get back up.
Yeah.
But moving on to Modern Warfare 2, just kind of our take on it because I did play a little bit more of it this weekend.
Nice.
Played a lot more multiplayer, got into the campaign. And what I can say now is that this is definitely the most fun I've had playing Call of Duty in a long time.
Yeah, I can totally agree.
This 100% feels better than Vanguard. It definitely feels like a better multiplayer than Cold War, which I feel like Cold War had the best multiplayer out of 2019 and Vanguard and Cold War.
Really?
I think it had like that good balance in between a really fast time to kill while also still kind of having that arcadey feeling of classic Call of Duty.
Of course.
I feel like it had like between those three, it had it was the closest to that balance, and it felt pretty good.
Yeah.
But now I think we're finally back. Now that we're not focused on like the hyper movement that Warzone and Modern Warfare 2019 encouraged, and that we're back to actually pretty questionable design maps. Which I am glad we have a lot of them at launch. We have 16 maps at launch, which is fantastic. That's a lot better than Vanguard.
I thought we only had 2. The highway and that one in the middle of the woods. Because I literally had that one twice in a row yesterday when I was really trying to just like grind through the golden skin. And I got 2 of them and then I just left. I just was not dealing with it.
Yeah, the highway map, I will admit, when it's not ground war, it is absolutely atrocious.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I'll let you tell your opinion on it because you've probably played a little bit less than I have. I've grinded a lot on that because it has been my main game as of late. So I'll let you tell your opinion, and then I will tell kind of my opinion and tips and tricks that might help you. And then if you want to throw in some tips and tricks that might help me, do it.
Yeah. Like, for one, I will say I love how much customization there already is at the start. Well, I like how there's 50 guns in the base roster. That's amazing to have. 50 guns, that kind of roster. Hey, remember Battlefield 2042 when that launched? Guess how many guns that had?
Did it have like 20?
22.
Sheesh.
22 guns.
That's not a lot.
Modern Warfare 2 sitting at 50.
It's a good start.
You know what? And I still need to get used to the gunsmith and weapon tuning and all the customization that offers. And I'm still not a fan of the unlock system and having to use other gun one gun to unlock another gun to then unlock another gun. But I do like how the skills you learn from one gun can translate into the next gun you unlock.
Yeah.
Which can then translate into that next gun you unlock. And it kind of progresses, which I can enjoy. I like it. But again, it's just that little part that I like. Overall, the system as a whole, I do kind of wish it was just you went through the ranks and you unlocked the guns, kind of like in past Call of Duty.
Yeah, I can agree.
But overall, I'm giving the game around a 7.5, 8 out of 10 right now.
Okay.
I still need to play more of it so that can go up or down.
It could go down. It could go down. It
Up
could
or
very
down.
well. So with me and my experiences with it, which I'm level I think 51 now, I believe. Yeah, hey, that's not even that crazy because I was like playing with my buddy the other day and he's 55 and he's got many guns golden and I was like, what the heck? But I've just now kind of got into the gold, like actually going through the customization for the camos for the guns. I kind of just wanted to play the game, have fun. And I will say at first I wanted to give the game a 6. It was just not fun because it's a different version of Call of Duty that you have to kind of get used to, okay? Like you were talking about, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019, it is a lot faster paced in the way that they were kind of trying to adjust from their, mech suits that they had in Infinite and Advanced Warfare. They were trying to like ease back in by giving you boots on the ground, Playing
Yeah.
2019, it's still quick though. You can be crazy bonkers with the movement. Now it's gone back to very slow. You have to play slow in this game.
Yeah, you got to play patient.
If you're not playing patient in this game, you will hate it because it's not fun. You get killed every single time. You're jumping around corners, you're sliding, you're dolphin diving 1,000 times. You got to learn to not dolphin dive as much. Got to learn to not advanced sprint with the gun up because it's very loud.
Yeah, I did learn early on, to use the dolphin dive just kind of like as an escape tool.
Exactly.
Like I used it like I was getting shot at and I go, "Oh," and like dive through a window into a building.
Which is very fun.
Yeah, in the cover, I'm like, "Oh, that was awesome."
Yeah.
And I could still hear the bullets like whizzing above me.
Yeah.
Which the sound design in this game is incredibly good.
I'll get to that in a second because I actually have different feelings about it. So the dolphin diving, very good if you are trying to run away, you're trying to get to cover. That's when you use that. Sliding, you're trying to get to a quick cover, just like you're trying to still shoot somebody, or slide around a corner if you want to be quick with it. Maybe have the fennec out and stuff and just start just mowing people down. The maps, terrible. There's two good ones, and one of them you could say you hate because the highway map I think is one of the better ones at least.
Yeah. I think the ground war maps are pretty good though.
Ground war maps are fun.
Yeah.
I mainly just stay up in a plane sniping people from the top, honestly.
Honestly, I don't know how Call of Duty did Battlefield better than Battlefield.
They did. They one-upped them for this game. But the gun skins, getting them, very, very, like, random, kind of. It's just, you got to really look at a skin that you want, and then you got to go and get another gun, and then you can unlock the challenge for it, and then you can unlock the actual skin for that gun. So you...
Oh, so the convoluted unlocking system kind of works its way into the camos?
Yeah, it really does, because I have to get one of the LMGs maxed out so I can get this skin unlocked, but I think that the skin for all of the guns goes to all of the guns? Like the gun, the one that I'm trying to go for, you level up to LMG, maybe it's one, I think they're all like connected to all of the guns you have. Like if you have one of the main ones, like the main like list of many camos, you can put it on any other gun that you have. But all the guns have 4 different main skins for that one gun that you get after doing small challenges that then lead up to you getting the golden gun.
This is so convoluted.
It's not. Well, it was a little bit, but once you actually look into it, it's not that bad. Like you just need to grind other guns. It really pushes for you to actually play with other guns that you have to unlock, obviously, throughout the thing.
Which, did you try that marksman rifle I told you about, like the bolt action? The
Yes.
one that's like right after the EBR?
So yeah, so that was the first one that I was using for a little bit. I didn't really care for it. Then I started using the Lockwood, which I don't have it maxed out yet, but I have it at level 20, and I'm going through it. But then I also equipped the one that you were talking about, the bolt action one, as a secondary for one of my loadouts. That one works very well. It kills very fast.
It rips.
And it does rip. The fire rate is what gets me because I like to get a little bit more involved. I'll be hitting with a sniper if I want to, have a slow fire rate. But I'm having a lot of fun with the game. Once you kind of learn the maps, even though they're trash, once you learn the maps, you can really know when the people are going to show up. Play slow, have fun, and I'm trying to think what else I had for the game. I had another gripe, but I don't know if I let me think.
And you know what, I will say, hopping on, like it took me about 2 lobbies to get called a racial slur. So honestly, it feels like old Call of Duty is back. Like, you know what? That's a good feeling.
There's only so much to tell. I mean, maybe Mitchell Miller was playing some Call of Duty back in the day, maybe saying some stuff. I don't know. I hope not. Don't look back at it. I don't want to put him on bad light.
That's the legacy. I mean, those old Modern Warfare 2 lobbies were volatile.
They were very, like, you could not be a softie going into those. No. Okay, that's when
that's probably why like kids our generation grew up like that.
Yeah.
We were called everything under the sun.
Yeah.
Back in those old Call of Duty lobbies.
Yeah, you just got to hold that stuff in. You got to just hold it in. I know you're playing war, I guess, but I mean, it's not, there's no place for it. But still.
You got to hit him with something funny when you die.
Yeah, you got to hit him because you get that little, like, the person talking whenever you kill him. I like that a lot.
Sorry, it just reminded me of what I used to do, was just I would absolutely just scream into my mic, like,
whenever you
like where he was coming from. Like, he's coming from the castle, like, absolutely just blasting it into him. So the other guy couldn't hear anything either.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I think it's funny that they have that type of chat that they did add in 2019, which was very fun because I remember just, like, hitting nice shots and then people just yelling, like, something. And then it was just like, that's all they could say. And I was like, I'm going to get him again.
Deathcoms and Warzone were kind of what made that game good, too.
But the game right now, it's getting to the point where I'm used to the maps. I'm getting used to the movement. I'm looking forward to the new maps because hopefully they can do better. Warzone might be fun. I don't know how much I'll be playing it, but I give the game right now, I give it an 8 out of 10 because I think it's solid, and I think it's a very addicting game.
And it did get confirmed that loadouts are coming back to Warzone too.
Okay.
So
all right.
That will be a thing.
Well, I really just hope they don't give all of their love to Warzone instead of the multiplayer, because I really just like the multiplayer.
Just depends on how well Warzone 2 does.
Guys, don't play Warzone 2. I want to keep playing the multiplayer. Thank you. That's all.
You can't ask him to do that.
I know.
And what's going to happen to all the Rose skins?
I'm not looking forward to all those skins. I'm not looking forward to all the crazies.
Hiding in the corners again? What's going to happen to all the people who bought Ghostface?
You will see. I know, the ghost, yeah.
But with a puppet.
Yeah, jeez. The Saw is the Saw guy. Yeah. There's a lot of camping. This game does encourage a lot of camping, but once you do learn those spots, you'll be able to pick off those campers and feel really good about it. But Bandi, I think it's time for a little bit of a break.
Portable radar helps with that.
Portable radar? Okay. I have them on some of my loadouts. I've been teaching my girlfriend to be a little bit better at it because she was really good at 2019. But when it comes to 2020 or 2022 Modern Warfare, it's a little tough on her. She got to adjust. But we're going to hit a little bit of a break. When we come back, we're going to finish up this show, and we're going to tell you guys who our favorite movie rabbit is. All right.
What?
See you guys on the other side. This is the Afternoon Blitz.
The Blitz has been called.
This is Wes Neighbors with Philip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. Still a place to call for your insulation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on two services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatedwitheagle.com and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Here's Bobby White from Woody Anderson Ford on their service department.
President's Award winner 2 years in a row. That's only given to the top 10% of Ford dealers in customer satisfaction. So we're very proud of the service department. And our body shop. If you happen to get into an accident, which not a lot of people just want to go down and see a body shop, but if you get into an accident, award-winning body shop. We have state-of-the-art paint booths back there. They're waterborne paints that we use, friendly for the environment. We've got our production system, the way things are in and out. We have the fastest cycle rate in town of getting your vehicle in, getting your vehicle out, and assured that it's fixed right. We take pictures before it's wrecked, and not only after, but we take it as we're putting the parts on. All done to above industry standards. So I'm proud of our body shop too. Don't forget our parts department. So if you don't happen to need parts, performance parts, or just parts if you're a weekend mechanic.
Woody Anderson Ford, located at the corner of Jordan and Sparkman, as well as Hughes Road and Madison. You can also check out the great deals at WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Guys, when we were 20, we never had to worry about spontaneity. And now that we've gotten older, spontaneity has been replaced with pills and injections. We're just trying to keep that intimacy, but it's taken away from spontaneity. At Advanced Life Clinic, we now offer GainsWave, which uses sound waves to non-invasively treat this issue with no need for pills or injections. Just give us a call, 256-888-9367, or check us out online, advancedlifeclinic.com.
And welcome back, everyone, to the Afternoon Blitz here on the Tennessee Valley Blitz Sports Network. I'm your host, the Bandi Man, and joined across the glass by my co-host, Captain Cool John Abraham.
I'm so cold.
Why are you so cold?
It is very cold in here, all right? It is very cold. I had a jacket next to me this entire time. I just now put it on, but it's bunchy with this big shirt that I got on. I told you guys that earlier, a little bit of a little foreshadowing.
So you did cool down at the beginning of the segment, though. So.
I did. I cooled down a lot.
At the beginning of the hour.
Yeah, it just happens, guys. By the way, this hour has been brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, the best place to get the best cars for
the best prices.
Exactly.
You know what? We're going to finish off the show. I want to give you a quick preview of some NBA games you should watch tonight, including at 9:15. It's sadly not on primetime because the Jazz never get primetime games, but they're playing the Lakers at home. The Lakers have just been a dumpster fire this season, 2-7.
Jeez.
Russell Westbrook has been carrying this team. Russell Westbrook and LeBron.
Really?
Westbrook, when he plays well, like, they've won.
Yeah?
Yeah. When LeBron and Westbrook have played well, they've been all right. But they're still shooting abysmal from a three-point leading outside scoring NBA.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. They're shooting terrible from outside in a league where you need to shoot well from outside.
Yeah.
But you know who is shooting well from outside?
Who?
The Jazz.
Let's go.
Who are sitting at 8-3.
Nice job.
I don't know what it is with this squad. I really don't. Like, the last time we played the Lakers, we shot 50, 40, 90 as a team.
That is why I'm telling you we need to get somebody to talk Jazz with us. I know, yeah, it's Utah, but still, they're still a surprising team, and also, they're doing well.
Yeah. I mean, literally shooting 50% from the field, 40% from three, and 90% from free throw as a team. I mean, you want that ideally just in like 3 of your players, but to average it as a team is astonishing.
Yeah. That's what I say. That's what I say, a good comp.
Oh my gosh. And this is just like, it just seemed like it was pieced together out of nowhere. Like, these pieces don't make sense. Lauri Markkanen, Walker Kessler, Colin Sexton, I will always say it. I don't get what it is. Rudy Gay coming off the bench and still averaging about like 13 points a game and like 5 rebounds.
It's good to
That's
see.
fine.
It's good to see Rudy coming back and doing stuff still.
It's just crazy to me. So you know what? I might try to do that. I might try to get a Utah guy for tomorrow to talk some Utes football as they're currently sitting in the top 15, and some Jazz basketball because I love talking about this team and just how it just kind of just fell into place for no good reason.
Yeah, I'll respect that. Okay, I'm a Browns fan. You're a Utah Jazz fan. It's teams that have fan bases somewhere. Browns, they're everywhere, but Utah Jazz, they're an elite fan base right there. But guys, that is what we got for you today on the Afternoon Blitz. Tomorrow, we'll be coming back at it yet again with the energy. So make sure you stay tuned for all of that stuff and tune in to all our other great coverage on 97.7 as well as the Afternoon Blitz and the Blitz shows.
With us today, Dr. Tracy Lowry of Best Van Care of Huntsville.
When we evaluate